Hey guys, welcome to another update video for my Southampton team. A lot of people have been messaging me, asking me how my Southampton team has been getting on, and what I've decided to do now is make this a sort of semi-regular feature, fairly spontaneous videos, and just to show you how I do every so often. Because as I say, a lot of people are interested in formation to use, tactics, how I did this with Southampton. Did other things with so I just thought I'd show you. I've just started my fourth season, but what I'll do is I'll go back now. We have had quite a tricky start. I've had two draws. I'll get over to that in a minute. But what I managed to do was get Southampton from seventh in season two in the Premier League. Oh, sorry, the first season in the Premier League. That was my second season. Now this was the third season. I got them third, just 3 points behind Man United, Man City running away with the title in the end. There was a slight glimmer all the way to the end where we thought maybe we can catch City, but to be honest, they just proved to be too good in the end. 87 goals, we actually scored more than Man United, although we did concede. In fact, I think we conceded twice as many goals as they did. I think that's the difference right there. And I will show you now the team. Well, okay, the team has changed. I've gone through quite a transitional period. I'll show you the player stats though. This is actually, no I won't because I can't. What I'll do, well, in fact what I'll do now is I'll show you my team. This is the team I have assembled. Actually, no. I'll show you the other team. See, we're in the Champions League. I'll show you the group in a minute. I'll show you this game here. This was 4-1 against Fulham. This was the last game of the season, and overall, this was a fairly. I mean, I had a few players missing, but overall, this was pretty much a similar team. Here we have Mark Schwarzer. This was his final game. He is now retired. But he was an absolute beast for me in season two. He was player of the year. He was awesome. Kyle Norton, who has moved on because of a glitch, which I'll get onto in a minute. Very annoying. Well, it's not really a glitch. It's more of a just sort of, I don't know, what do you call it? It's something lacking from the game, I guess. Sebastian Bassong, who is now my captain. Tank at the back. Danny Fox, very good player. Harry Maguire, he's a youngster. I think he is real, not a regen. He looks okay. Morgan Schneiderlin, very good. Nico Cranchar, he was last year's Player of the Year. He was this current season, the one you're looking at now. His player of the year, brilliant. Signed him fairly cheap. Adam Lallana, if you are Southampton, keep hold of him. I've talked about him before. Very good player. Danny Haynes from Barnsley, I think he's from. Superb pace. I mean, if you've seen, I think it was the FA Cup semi-final on my Liverpool save for 2012. He ripped me to shreds. He was absolutely unbelievable. So I got him on this, and he's okay. He's not amazing, but he's pretty decent. He's pretty useful. Jack Laxton, he's a youngster. Got his first goals in this game. He got the double. He should have had a hat trick really, but he's pretty decent young lad. And Billy Sharp, you all know about. But yeah, so let's see what else can I talk about. See, Bassong ended with 8 goals. Yeah, it was 8 goals last season. He was tank up front, absolute tank. But what I can also show you perhaps is, let's have a look at another result here. This would be 3-0. Oh no, my mouse is, no way is my mouse running out of batteries now. Better not be. This is another one. As you saw, the 2 different formations. Sorry, I'm going to have to use my touchpad. That's very annoying. Ben Amos, who is my number 1. Other player I've got here is Danny Sturridge. He was going quite cheap for Chelsea, so I thought take him. Ryan Taylor, the Newcastle left back. Very good as well. Personally, I rate him a lot. Jose Fonte, who has moved on. Richie Delat, Norwich defender, very good. But what I'll do now is I'll show you this current team. This is the team I think that can possibly take the title. I've got 2 keepers now. I've had to replace, obviously, Schwarzer. So too Calvin Davis, who's retired. I initially wanted to bring in Calvin Davis as my backup, but he retired as well, along with Schwarzer. So I ended up having to bring in Peter Galacci, who is a 24-year-old Hungarian goalkeeper. He is on loan at Hull, I think, at the moment, but he is Liverpool. So don't worry about that. He's a St. Liverpool player still. Chris Gunter, I bought in to replace Kyle Norton. Now, there was a strange thing that happened with Norton because I sold Fonte, who was my captain. He was getting too old, and he was very accident prone, and he was just annoying me. He just so anytime you'd read like the match report, it would always sort of end up saying a mistake by Jose Fonte led to this, and it happened it kept happening all the time. I thought, okay, I'm gonna move him on now. He's really irritating me. Um, so what happened was I sold him in July, so the captaincy was free then. And then the captaincy moved to where's the guy? Sorry, Carl Norton by default for some reason. So and then it said so obviously he was the captain then, and I didn't really know. And then when it came to before the season started, it said pick your captain. I chose Bassong, and Norton got all pissy about it, and he essentially said, "You've stripped me of the captaincy. I want to leave." Which wasn't the case at all. I never made him captain, so really stupid. I don't know if that's a glitch or what, but whatever. I brought in Chris Gunter to replace him. Fairly able, I'd say. But I think it was 4 million, probably a little bit too expensive. But I was able to do that. Daniel Agger was also getting sold by Liverpool. I remember how good he was for me. Um, in 2011, he was amazing. I've also brought in Kolarov. He was for sale for Man City, 1.9 million. I thought, hey, good left back. Danny Fox, I've talked about, he's a very good player. Frimpong was going fairly cheaply. I didn't actually. I mean, he's only 22, so I thought he's good to have there. Hatton Ben Arthur, he was going fairly cheaply as well. I'll get to that. I'll get to all the signings I've brought in and so on in a minute. But this is just the current team I've assembled now for the fourth season. Vladimir Vicey was also going fairly cheaply. Jack Wilshere was up for sale by Arsenal, and I thought, just like he was in 2011, weirdly, I don't know why, but even though he has pledged in real life to stay at Arsenal for the rest of his life, he seems to always want to move on in Footy Manager, so that's a bit weird. Jack Cork, who is just a beast. I think Tottenham put in like a £10 million bid for him in the summer. I think I turned it down, but Michael Kitely I've brought in as well. He's fairly decent. He's a decent squad player. But the big signing is Carlos Tevez. Now I'm wondering, how in Christ's name did I afford him? Well, he was released by Manchester City. He was still at City, sulking his arse off. And yeah, he really sort of, I don't know. It was free, and I had a huge wage budget. I let go so many players because pretty much I needed to, because the team, or rather the club rather, was in a bit of financial problems. And so I just had to let a load of people go, and I thought I'd rather bring in someone like Tevez. He's getting on a bit now. He's a bit older. I mean, his contract. I mean, he's on 93 grand a week. I mean, that's a bit of a step down from his Man City, but it's Carlos Tevez. He's quality. And with Billy Sharp or Lee Griffiths also, who I was this close to selling at one point because he really wasn't performing for me, but he was turned into a beast. If I show you a few stats of his history, 16 appearances, 7 goals. His average rating there is a lot better. I mean, I'll just say that, it was a lot better. That doesn't really do him justice. Not that great a ratio, but that rating is pretty good, trust me. Billy Sharp was also very prolific last season. Let's click on his. He was still going strong. 32 appearances, 15 goals, and 9 assists. Just getting better every season. Obviously not as good as his initial championship brace, but he's still an absolute beast. Jason Punchin's fallen away. Adam Lallana came good, really good. 3 goals, but 17 assists on the wing. Absolute beast. I would recommend him completely. But what I'll do now is I will go over the transfers that I brought in and the transfers I brought in last season. This is the current transfer budget and wage budget I had. The wage budget just went up so much, but as you can see, I brought in a few young players. Frimpong I brought in. Tevez was free, as you saw. So too was Galachi. Wilshere I had a big budget now because we got in the Champions League. My budget was getting bigger, so I was able to splash out a little bit on Wilshere, and the rest were fairly cheap. I mean, Agger's really cheap, and Gunter I could able to do that as well. 17 million, not a great deal. What I had to do though was release a lot of people. They were just extra baggage. Danny Shito I had, he was getting on a bit. Pavlyuchenko, Jose Fonte, Ricky Lambert I had to get rid of. I mean, he's really good, but I mean, he's getting on a bit now. He's 32. He wasn't quite what I was looking for in the Premier League. He's good, but I had to get rid of him. Owen Hargreaves, too injury prone. He was good though. He was a good ambassador for us for I think it was a couple of seasons. 3 seasons actually. I mean, he only scored 6 goals, but really good there. Really good player for us. Did quite well. Laurie Dalla sold on. And obviously Carl Norton was indeed sold, but I paid an extra £100,000 for Chris Gunter, so it was essentially a swap in a way. Obviously not directly with West Brom, but yeah, I barely lost out basically. I mean, Carl Norton, how old is Norton? He is 25. Gunter, I think, is also 25. So there's not much difference there. I mean, okay, Norton might be a better player. Maybe Gunter's a better player. I don't know. But yeah, they're the signings made. I just love this signing. If I haven't talked about this, then I'll show you very quickly. This guy, his name, I just signed him. He's on loan at Bournemouth, but I signed him just because of his name. I mean, Christ Zola. That I mean, find me a better name than that. And I don't mean comical name. I mean just badass name. These were the signings I brought in last season. This is essentially the signings that got me up to where I was in the league in third. And obviously, Miroslav Klose was a bit of a flop. I signed him free actually. He was just a free agent. I signed him. Problem was, I signed him in the middle of September. Therefore, he barely played until January, which at that point, obviously because he wasn't registered, because you didn't know you have to register your players in the Premier League. If it's after September, they can't play. He barely played. His fitness went down. He got pissy about not being able to play, despite the fact that I couldn't pick him physically, and he got really pissy and ended up just leaving. But players like Bassong, Taylor, Sturridge, all free. Cranshaw for 3 million. Danny Haynes for 1 million. Probably paid a little bit too much for him, but he's a decent squad player, as I say. Did end up having to get rid of a lot of players. Mikel Alonso left. So did Stephen DeRidder. You just got to clear out, a few people. Fraser Richardson, Richard Chaplow, Alan Smith. No one knows where. You just have to clear out a lot of clutter. But yeah, I think that really is it. As far as the team goes. And yeah, so I'm going to see how this one goes. Now, in terms of our fixtures, show you the new season here. Didn't have the best pre-season in the world. Lost to Leeds, but apart from that, went too bad. We had a tour of Ireland, which we enjoyed. Had the first game against Bolton. Cranshaw got us. David Wheaton, in fact, got sent off inside the first 2 minutes. Imagine like getting sent off inside the first 2 minutes of the new season. You'd be gutted, wouldn't you? Cranshaw put us in front, but Ngog equalised. I mean, thankfully, last season, actually, we did eventually calm down after the wacky games of like 9-1, 7-4, losing 4-0 to Arsenal. Some big scalps we did. In fact, also, one thing I completely forgot to mention, we won the League Cup, which I can't show you. We beat Sunderland 1-0. I can't even, actually, who scored? It'll tell me. Billy Sharp scored, that's right, he scored 10 minutes from time. Not a pretty rubbish game, to be honest, but we won the League Cup. I completely forgot to mention it. So much how much I value it. We got a good 2-2 draw against Man United. Pretty decent. Lost 2 to Liverpool, but at that point I just rested a lot of players, if I'm honest. Lost 3-2 to Wolves in the FA Cup, but I didn't really care at that point. And so as I say, we had a difficult start. Liverpool have improved a lot on this now. They've sacked Dalglish, which is stupid. But I think they've brought in what's his name? They brought some German guy in. Hang on, it's like, where is it? Hube Stevens. Oh, so he's Dutch. No, I thought he was German. And Rodolfo's gone to assistant manager. That's quite funny. And Juan Sebastian, well, look at these. Juan Sebastian Veron's a youth coach. So too is Alexander Fry. Matt Busby. We've got a Matt Busby. How old he is? He's only 34. Matt Busby's a coach, which is quite funny. Anyway, sorry, I just have to look at that. That just startled me a bit. But yeah, Liverpool looking good on this now. So that's 0-0 draw at Anfield's not too bad. But our Champions League group, yes, Champions League, look at how weird is this. With Valencia, Bayern Munich and PSV Eindhoven, I think you will agree that is a pretty difficult group. We will do well to get out of that. In fact, I'll be happy with still Europa League football, if I'm honest. But PSV, I think we can take 3 points from. Bayern Munich, see how City get on with them. But yeah, now Stephen Kelly, also, I would not recommend this guy. I've recommended him in the past. I personally don't. I didn't play him for a while. He got quite pissy. I said last time I gave you a chance, you let me down. I said I'll give you one more chance. And what does he do? He actually costs us the game. He physically gives the ball away with a stray pass and costs us the game. I can't remember which one it was. And for that, I fined him 2 weeks' wages, dropped them, offered mutual release or something, and really shit on him. Really did try and beat him into the ground, but didn't get anything unfortunately out of him, and still can't shift him even though he's wanted. I'm going to have to get rid of him. Anyway, so that's that, I think. I think I need to talk about anything else. I've also brought in, actually, that reminds me, I've brought in a new assistant manager, Andy Crosby. Went to, where did he go? I think, he's gone to West Brom, I think, or somewhere, or someone like that, or Stoke, or someone like that. And I brought in Kevin Bond. He was a free agent. He wanted the job. Kevin Bond, really good assistant manager. Brought him in. Got me coaching staff consisting of Michael Owen, a brand new addition which I've just added. Tim Sherwood, quality. Lee Trundle, legend for those who watch Soccer AM. Bolo Zenden, a few other people, Gavin McCann, who else? Hugh Jennings, who was my youth coach at Liverpool in FM 2011 for a while. Fries Hansen, who was a scout of mine at Liverpool as well. And yeah, some really good staff there as well. I'm really happy with the whole setup we've got going here. Trying to go for the title and maybe even the Champions League, although I am sceptical. Don't think I've really got anything else to say. In terms of tactics, I haven't really found much tactics with this team yet. I've only played 2 games with them, as I say. But I still stick with my 2 that I usually go with, and that is a 4-4-2 or the 4-2-3-1 asymmetrical. You can find these, set up standard formation, just go to option, just go to add tactic, use an existing tactic, set a formation, and 4-3-2-1, 4-2-3-1 asymmetrical. Or you can do a deep one, you can do diamonds, you know. But yeah, I mean, obviously you can create your own tactic, but I just generally go with the old normal standard ones. In terms of captains, Schneiderlin is my vice captain, Bassong is my main captain. I was going to do Billy Sharp, but Schneiderlin's been here longer. Yeah, I think he's actually the longest, longest like serving player in the team now, apart from actually, yeah, I think it is actually. Might be wrong. It's either Lallana, Cork, or yeah, or Fox maybe. I know he's new, wasn't he? Christ, that is an entirely new team. I just realised, isn't it? How I've really built up a team. I'm very happy with what I did. I'm usually crap at this kind of thing, but you know, so originals remain are Fox, Schneiderlin. I think Maguire was still here. Cork, Lallana, Punchin, but he was on loan. And yeah, I think I've got a completely new strike force. Yeah, so that apart from the original team, that they are the only ones that remain. In terms of goalkeepers, I know a few people might want to know this. Ben Amos is my number 1, but I might rotate them a bit. When in terms of that, see what's PR? Happy, good. Anyway, yeah, so that's just a little update for you. I know you guys really are liking the Southampton team. I will do another one. I reckon I'll do another one. Probably after the January transfer window. I don't know when that video will be, as I've talked about. These are entirely spontaneous. I don't have any. I don't have any routine for this. I just play it. I tend to with this one. I tend to not play it for a while, play a huge chunk, leave it, play another huge chunk, and so on like that. Because it can drive you mad after a while. Anyway, that's enough from me, lads. I hope you enjoyed it. Any more questions, just ask them in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.